areas of impasse. So participants will come to this and they'll say, you know, I'm stuck in this area of my ministry environment. I'm stuck in this area of my own family life, where families feel pressure of clergy experiences, or I'm stuck in my ministry with families, in helping families progress. And so with this, they have some capable coaches come in, and they're working in that type of environment where they can then share more honestly than they might in a purely denominational setting, or where they can come forward and pick each other's brains to a degree, and also kind of tease out the expertise that might be present. And so it was an interesting shift, I thought, in the way they are doing that, and that's said to be one of the things that the clergy continually say is that you know, the best learning that they do all year happens in those small group coaching sessions. And one further bit here is on the idea of congregational-based learning, that actually the life in a congregation can be a fantastic laboratory for learning, not just bringing in the guru and the expert, but to exegete the congregation and bring out some of the knowledge within the congregation. And a couple ways that this is happening. There's one example of a group that gathers a worship team and every week plans worship together, where people come from a variety of backgrounds, talk about what worked and what didn't work in the worship service the week before, and then take a couple hours to plan the next one. They build some close ties around this. They talk about the theology of worship, and they read their congregation. A lot of what's needed in the church comes out of this, of these conversations. And in a way, it's enhanced by another project at Fuller Theological Seminary in Pasadena, where they are moving their classes to congregations, actually having students learn in congregational settings, and that allows for mentoring and things that I can talk about further. So to wrap up here, and then I'd love to open for conversation. What's coming from this is a sense that people need a guide, as we talked about a bit in the article. The notion of a travel guide is maybe a helpful motif, where people might need someone to show them the landscape, figure out what they need as individuals, help them get it, keep them from pitfalls, show them what's fruitful and promising, ways to work with that. To build, secondly here, not only to adopt a motif from the world of travel, but to build on spiritual traditions with mentoring and with spiritual direction. This is not a need to turn to the world of business consulting and say that what's happening in our spiritual traditions is not adequate. We have to work away from the outside. There may be some coaching insights to be gleaned, but to really build upon robust spiritual traditions, it seems, is very much what's at work here. These are paradigms being fleshed out, but that's one of the secondary functions here. Is let's build on what we have that's right for the taking, and then lastly, to carry these out as our systems evolve, to carry them out in economically viable channels. The fee-for-service, sitting with a guru, is not viable in many congregations. They simply opt out if it's not required by a denomination. And so that brings us to technology-based education, which might be more viable. But there's also some conversation here to be had about how do we sponsor and pay for the distribution of education. Would third-party sponsorships be a sensible factor in all of this? I think I'll leave it there. Put a bunch of things out for you, but we can talk from there.
So why don't you stay here and we'll just,
Sure.
but I just want, do people have clarifying questions they want to ask before getting into your opinions about, you know, Elliot?
Could we go back to the Bowen family system one? You have a sense as to what made that successful because you put out several possibilities. Or at least I can imagine several possibilities for success. Maybe you had a thought as to which one maybe, because there was a possibility that it was methodology, which was case studies. There was also the possibility that it was the presentation, which was small group coaching. It was also possible that it was where people were, whether it was they had a real problem, the language was, we're stuck here, so they felt in some kind of personal crisis. So there were a couple of options, could be all of them, there's some sense as to what made that successful.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a combination. My sense is that it's a combination of these factors, but I can share that what the representative from those gatherings was telling the group was that the ability to come together and have to bring up an area of impasse and articulate that in a safe environment was an important one. To get the input from a relatively diverse group of colleagues was also important to draw upon the insights of people who may not be Baptists of the same stripe, but may come from that tradition and other religious traditions or Christian traditions that would be non-Baptist. So drawing upon that, that was another theme that came up, was people are excited and invigorated by when they say, you know, how do you in a different part of the country, in a different tradition, deal with these same issues? So I think those were a couple of the key factors, and I think the case study environment with this coaching and being coached through the problem solving. They were really learning to solve problems together, and in that sense really developing skills that would serve them well. For the next time something comes up and they don't have a group to rely on, they at least have done a lot of thinking about, well, how would I think this through? Who would I turn to? What types of questions would I ask? And what types of insights would be worth deploying when I go back into my congregation? And that's the muscle that is being developed in those groups that people seem to really value.
Yeah, I just following up on what you said several times, a little clarification. The concept of finding a safe place for the continuing education. I'd like to clarify again, know what in your experience in the Protestant community have been those safe places in terms of, does it mean going out of not only the denomination, Methodist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, etc., but even going to, let's say, the Catholic seminary or Alban, someplace that that doesn't that expands the boundaries. What has been, in terms of what you found, the most effective and things that have been working?